Hello everyone. In today's video, we will look at how to create a column chart and you will see how to convert it to different types of charts. But before we start, we will need to solve this exercise that you see here. Then from there, we can create a chart to visualize the data. You will also see how to apply different types of chart elements, chart styles, and layouts. Stay tuned till the end of the video. Now, for you to understand what's going on here, so this exercise, the heading here, which is in row 1, is Grafted Technology College. Okay, this is ICT class and this is STEM 1. All right, so in this column headings, these are the column headings. As you can see here, we have these cells empty. We don't know what is there. So we're going to complete these cells by using the autofill from C3. We'll copy that pattern to G3. So I'll click the fill handle from here, click hold, and drag that to G3. Okay, as you can now see, I have my mark 1 up to mark 5. Okay, now here are the marks of students. Okay, so over here, these cells are empty. So this column is the student names and we can identify the student as student 1. Okay, so we're going to click on the fill handle, click hold, and copy that pattern to the rest of the cells. So stop at that point, which is B13, and then we have student 10. Now, if you look over here, we do have the serial numbers here, which is 1 to 10. So we have 10 students in the class. Let's go ahead and calculate the total for each of the students. Now, bear in mind that this exercise is all about calculating student marks. As you can see, this is the serial number of the student from 1 to 10. And these are the names of the student 1 to student 10. And then they have written about 5 tests, which is named Mark 1 to Mark 5. And each of those tests is out of 100. Okay, so these are the marks of this student. Over here, we want to calculate the total for each of the students, and then we will calculate the percentage that each student got for the subject called ICT. All right, now to create my formula, I have to click in H4. Student 1 did write the 5 tests. This is the marks the student got. So I'm going to start with my equal sign. I can decide to use the AutoSum or I just create my simple formula, but I'm going to use the AutoSum. So I will type in the sum function. All right, and select that to the mark 5. Close the formula and press the enter key on my keyboard. So that is my formula if you look at the formula bar. Now that I have my formula, I'm going to click on the fill handle, all right, and copy the formula to the rest of the cells, which is cell referencing. So I'll click hold and drag to the rest of the cells. All right, so it's that easy. We have gotten the total marks for each of the students. Now let's calculate for their percentages. We want to be sure if the students did pass the subject called ICT. Now to do that, I'm going to start with my equal sign and I'm calculating by the total because we already have the total marks for the students. So I'll click there, divide by 500. Bear in mind that each of the marks are out of 100. And now we have calculated the total marks for each student. We'll divide that by 500 to get our percentage. Then I'll press the enter key on my keyboard. Now that is the value that we get. Now to convert this to percentage, I would have to go to my home tab, go to number group, and that's the percentage. I'll just click on it. I have successfully calculated that to percentage. I'll click the fill handle and then copy that formula to the rest of the cells. Great. Now you can see we have automatically calculated the percentages for each of these students. Note that these are the column headings of the exercise. So I'm going to select all of that. All right, go to my font group, make it bold and center align it from the alignment group. So I'll click center align so that you can see what I'm trying to do. So these here to that point is the column headings. Now let's sort this data according to percentages. Now to sort your data, you should select from the column headings, okay, to the entire cells, okay? Select from the column headings down to all other cells, like you can see here. Now the idea is to sort this data according to percentage. Now go to my home tab, hover my mouse to the editing group. You'll see sort and filter. Click the more arrow and you'll see different types of sorting. You should always go to the custom sort because this allows you to sort by a particular column heading. So I'll click on that. Now this dialog box would come out, which is sort dialog box. Now you will see these sections, you'll see sort by. The idea is to sort by percentage. So I'll click and go to percentage. Take note that if I did not select from the column headings, we will not find this drop down column headings. Okay, so I'll choose that percentage. Now sort on, this is okay, you don't need to touch on it. Now the order, how do we want to sort this? We want to sort from the highest to the lowest, okay, which is the highest percentage to the lowest. So I'll click the more arrow here. Highest to lowest would be largest to smallest, so I'll choose that and then click OK. Now you would notice that this has successfully sorted the data. Now we have over here in the percentage section, we do have 68% as the highest mark in this exercise or in that subject, okay, up onto that point, and then we can see that about 3 students fill the subject, okay, and you can also see that here was automatically also sorted and rearranged the student names. So we can see here also that the name student 1 did pass the subject with the highest mark, okay, and the student 9 is the one who had the lowest mark in the subject. Now that is how to perform sorting in Excel. All right, so let's go in and create a chart to visualize our data. In Excel, a chart is a visual representation of data that transforms numbers and text into a graphical format, making it easier to understand trends, patterns, and comparisons. So Excel offers a wide range of chart types, such as the column chart, the line chart, the pie chart, the cone chart, and so forth. Now, the common types of charts are the pie charts. So the pie charts show the size of items in one data series. The bar charts illustrate comparisons among individual items. The column charts are useful for showing data changes over a period of time or for illustrating comparisons among items. So I'm going to show you how to create some of this chart, but in this exercise, we'll be creating a column chart, and then I'll show you how you can convert your column chart to different types of charts. So to use charts, you will need to select the data to use to create a chart. The data should include both the numerical data and the column data and or row headings describing the data that you want to use for your chart. All right. Now for this illustration, I'm going to select just a few data so you can see how to create a chart. Now I'm going to click in B3, which is the column heading, select to mark 3. This is the column heading. And I also want to select the row heading, which is student 1, student 2, student 3, and I want to stop at student 4. Now, if you see my selection, you will notice that the row headings and the column headings are selected, including my data, which are the numbers. So I'm going to stop at that point. This selection, I'll be using it to create a column chart. Now that it's selected, I'll go to my Insert tab, click on the Insert tab, go to Charts group, Now, these are some of the different charts. So you go to that point, which is column charts. I'll click the more arrow and you'll see different sections: 2D column charts, 3D column, 2D bar charts, 3D bar charts. Now, as I hover across, you'll see the different charts changing, okay? The views. But we want to apply the 2D clustered column chart. So this is the section for 2D column. Here is the clustered column chart. This is stacked column, and this one is 100% stacked column. Now you need to know the name of the chart that you want to apply. So we'll be using the 2D clustered column chart, which is the first one. Now once selected, you will see that we have our chart. So if you look down here, you will see legends. So these are called legends. It appeared below the chart, displaying a color for each particular data series. So Mark 1 is the blue color, and so forth to Mark 3 is the green color. Now that we have created our chart, you can move your chart to different positions or location. All right, the first one is you can click on the chart and move it aside. You can hold the chart and move it downwards below the exercise and drop it there. Or you can move the chart to cover your exercise. Okay, now the most important one is to move the chart to a different location, which is a chart sheet. To move your chart to a new chart sheet, you should select your chart. By selecting your chart is right here. If I click here, you see the chart is deactivated. Now, if I click on that, it means the chart is active. Now, when your chart is active, that's when you can see in the menu tab, the chart design. You click on that, then you are able to perform any function on your chart. From my chart design, I'm going to move to location. Now click on move chart. So what we want to do is to move this chart to a new chart sheet. Now the move charts dialog box comes out. Now you see new sheet, so I'm going to put a tick there and put the name of the chart that I want. I could call this maybe 4, right? Because I selected 4 students. I just call that 4. Then I'll click OK. Now you can see that I have moved the chart to a new chart sheet, and that is the name of the chart. But take note, you can also rename the chart sheet here if you want to. Now if I click on the chart sheet, you see that my chart has been moved. Now back to this point, the next thing we want to look at is to change the chart layout. Now to apply any command to your chart should be active, otherwise you will not be able to apply command to that. So remember, we want to change the chart layout. So I have to click on the chart to make it active. Then I'll be able to see my chart design. I'll click on that. We want to change the chart layout. So I'm going to move to the chart layout. See a quick layout there. I'll click the more arrow. And these are the different kinds of chart layouts, and they do have the names. Now, if I hover my mouse to each of those charts, take a look at the preview and you'll see how it looks like. Okay, now layout 5 does have a table underneath the chart. We will use layout 1. Okay, for the layout number 1 that we chose, you can see that we now have our legend moved to the right hand side. To change the chart title, you come over here, click on that chart title, go to the formula bar section and type in what you want. When done, I have typed in 4 there. When done, just press the enter key on your keyboard and then it changes to that chart title. Now the next thing we want to look at is to switch row. To change what displays in your chart, a switch can be made from row data to column data and vice versa. You're going to see how that is done here. First, activate your chart by clicking on it. Now the chart design comes out. Hover your mouse to where you see data group, and that command button there is switch row / column. Now you can see from here that below here we have the student names, which is student 1 to student 4. and then we have their marks. So we're going to switch the data. So I'll come over here and click switch. Now you can see what we have now is that we have below here, we have mark 1 to mark 3. Over here, the legend now becomes the student names. All right, if I don't like what is here, I can go back and switch. So that is how to switch your data. Let's now go ahead and change the style of this chart. Again, the chart must be active, chart design. This is chart styles. If I click the more arrow, these are the different types of chart styles. So I just need to hover across and see what I want. Each of the chart styles do have their names. Now you would see that point and how it looks like. Okay, I like this one. I will choose style 8. All right, so let's go ahead and change the chart type. Again, to do that, you need to activate your chart by clicking on the chart. Now the design tab comes out, which is called chart design. Now hover your mouse to the point where you see the type group. Remember, we want to change the chart type. Okay, so change chart type. I'll click the button. Change chart type dialog box comes out. Now if you look here, these are the different types of charts that we do have. And over here, you will see the initial chart that we created was clustered column chart. You can decide to convert your chart to another type of column chart, which is here. This is stacked column chart. This is 100% stacked column chart. This is 3D and so forth. You just hover your mouse to different types of chart still in the column chart and click which you want to use. But we want to convert our column chart to a bar chart. So I'm going to come to this side and choose the bar. Now, when I click on the bar chart, you will see that I do have here the different types of bar charts. This one is clustered bar charts, stacked, 100% stacked, 3D clustered bar charts. And that's the one I want, so I'll click on that. Over here, within the 3D cluster bar chart, there are also different types of styles which you may want to use. So I'll just use the default one and then click OK. So as you can see here, we have converted our column chart to bar charts. Let's go ahead and change the chart colors. Assuming you're working on a project and you do have a theme color for your project, you might as well change your chart to those theme colors. Now, this is how to do that. Hover your mouse and right click any of the data bars. This is green, so I'll right click on the green. Now hover your mouse down to where you see format data series, click on that and go to the right hand side. There are 3 buttons there. So the active one is the last one, which is series options. Now go to this point and click fill and line. What we want to do is to change the color of the chart. Now over here you'll see the active one is automatic. We'll change it to solid. Once you click on the solid, you will see color comes out. Now from this point, you can click on the more arrow and choose the color for your project or change the color that you want. So I'm going to just go ahead and choose standard colors. I'll choose red. Now once I click on the red, you will notice that the data series there changes for each of those. You can see automatically. All right. So I can go ahead and change this to a yellow. All right. It's already there. So I can just click there and come to solid, choose perhaps green. This is our green color. All right. And that is blue. If I want to change, I can just click on that. Now come back, choose the solid. Okay. And go to the color here. Select the color that I want, perhaps yellow. You can even choose any of the colors here. So let's choose yellow. All right. So that is how to change your chart colors. The next thing I like to show you is how to convert to different chart types, perhaps a cone chart. What you do is, I'm going to close here so I can take you step by step to that point. Let's say we want to convert this bar chart to a cone chart. Again, I'm going to right click any of those bars, go to Format Data Series. This is series option. In this case, these are column shapes. I'll scroll down and this is the different types of charts that you can convert to. This is a box, which is what we have here. Now, this is full pyramid chart. This is partial pyramid. This is cylinder. And here is a cone chart. Assuming we want to convert that to a cone chart, I'll just click on that button. You will see that has now been converted to a cone. So I have to do it for each of these bars or data series. So I'll click on that, come here, choose full cone, click on that and come over here and choose full cone. That you can do for any of those if you want to create a cylinder chart. So I'm going to take it back to the original one, which is the box. So I'll select that, click on that, select on that one, go back to that point and choose my box. Okay, select that one, go to that section and choose my box. Okay, so that is how you can create these types of charts. All right. Now that you have seen how to do that, I want to show you how to apply different types of chart elements to your chart. So again, you need to ensure that your chart is active. If you look up here, the chart tab is not visible. So you would need to activate your chart so you can see your chart design. Now, when you click on the chart design tab, go to chart layout, you will see add chart elements. Click the more arrow. These are the different types of chart elements that you might want to add to your chart. The first one there is primary horizontal or primary vertical. Take a look at my chart over here so you can see the changes. For primary horizontal, that's what it looks like. For primary vertical, that's what it looks like. Okay, those are the views. If I come to axis titles, now axis titles would be your X and Y axis. Now we have that, which is the axis title. If I click on that, okay, now I'll go back, go to my axis title, I'll click on that. Okay, now let's apply names to that. So here would be the marks. These are the marks for the student. So there I'll delete what is there. I'll delete whatever I have there and type in marks. So that section is the marks section. Okay, now if I come over here, these we call that the student name. So I'll click there, delete whatever I have there and type in names. That is the student names over there. All right, you can adjust the label there to wherever you want it. You see, I can move that upwards. Now here I can decide to also move that to anywhere I want it. You can see the name marks where it is, and I can adjust this. You'll see the legends are below the name marks. So I can click, hold the legend and move it upwards. So you can adjust this as you want to, and then move the mark downwards. Okay, so you can adjust the legend and the name, the axis titles. Now let's go back to the axis title. Click the chart design, go to chart layout, click the more arrow of add chart element. Now the chart title. All right, we already have a chart title there, but I can come over here. This is none if you don't want to have a chart title. Now there's a name there above chart, which is what we currently have. If you look at a preview of the chart over here, and then this one is centered overlay. All right, so if you want that to be centered overlay, you choose that option. You see the view as it is there. Now let's go to the next element there, which is data labels. All right, so this is the data labels. The first one here is what is active right now. We have none. Data call out. See the preview, what it is. Now it tells you the name of the student and the percentage for each of those marks. That's what it displays there. and it's called data labels, call out. Now I'm going to go to the next one, data table. So I click that, come to this point, none, because we have none. Then there is data table with legend keys. If you look at the preview, you will see what it looks like. Now the next one is data tables, no legend keys. That's the preview that we have. All right, so like I did say, this is your legend. You can move your legend out and adjust it nicely. All right, go back to my elements. All right, so data table, this is the preview that you get. Now the next element is the grid lines. Now there are different grid lines here. The first one is primary measure horizontal. Look at the preview, what you get. The next one is primary measure vertical. That's what you get. Primary minor horizontal. That's what you get. Now this is primary minor vertical. So depending on what you're working on, you might want to apply these elements to your chart. Now let's go to the next element here, which is legend. You can move your legend around from this section. Now right, you can see from that preview that our legend has now moved to the right section over here. Now top, the legend have now been moved to the top of the chart. Left, that's where the legend is. Bottom, that's where the legend is. Now it's up to you to think of the right place to place your legend. Now the right section is good because now we have the left, we have the X and Y axis, we have the title, and then we have the legend in the right section, which is perfect. Now that you understand all the elements in chart, you know when to apply what. Okay, so let's choose this. All right. To learn how to create a pie chart, click on the video that appears next. I'll see you in the next video.